Take your average day after school, multiply it by 365, and then multiply the result by the years left until your graduation. That is your starting point for life once you graduate. And you should ask yourself right now whether this is a starting point that you actually find good and that actually gives you optionality, opens many cool options to you. This is something you should ask yourself. You're likely a young man who feels energy inside himself, who feels like he wants to be successful, maybe wants to be wealthy, wants to be this, wants to be that. But I can tell you right now, from my own experience, which I will share throughout this video, ambition is not enough. And ambition will not take care of you. Okay? I was ambitious from 14 onwards. Basically, after becoming a teenager, I felt like some kind of ambition that I want to achieve something in the future. I want to be wealthy, want to achieve this, want to achieve that. But since I did not have clear goals and the vision for the time after school, for my life in a way, yeah, most of my free time was wasted either on watching series or sleeping after school, um, scrolling on social media or other instant gratification habits. And the trajectory my habits were leading me to was clear. If you follow the formula that I've just mentioned a minute ago. At the time I was about to finish high school, I would be super unclear about which path to pursue, and what I generally want from life. My choice would rather be the next best one and poisoned by whatever I believed at that point in time would give me a high status and thus allow me to compensate for my low self-worth that I had at this point in time. Thus, if I would go by this route, I would not use my strengths very well, my talents or my curiosities, but rather I would just do what felt best for my ego at this point in time. And again, let's apply the formula. Fast forward 5 years or 10 years, I would likely work in a high performance job in the business field, in the business environment, and likely would feel quite sad inside of me because I would know kind of that I'm pursuing the wrong thing, but it always felt kind of right to pursue. Otherwise, I wouldn't have, right? Hence, this would be a quite unpleasant state and a quite unpleasant trajectory if 5 or 10 years from this point, from my graduation, I would feel quite unhappy inside myself and would not even understand why. Because I thought I was doing things right, wasn't I? And this is something I really want to dive deep into in this video. What was the problem? Wasn't I just being a kid and doing things that I should be doing at this point in time, enjoying the free time that I had, and also relaxing from school because it was so hard, right? Watching series, being on social media, sleeping in after school. Wasn't it fine to fill up my free time with instant gratification? Isn't that the purpose of free time? It's free time, isn't it? To enjoy yourself, especially as a teenager, right? And if I would look actually back then at my peers, they would kind of do the same as I did, which is one more reason why it did not feel wrong to just live how I lived. And I was going to school because I had to. If I would not have to go, I would not go. And weren't my parents, and likely most parents of the kids around me, also approach their work or their duties in the same way, working because they had to, and thus filling up their free time with instant gratification activities? So, since everybody was kind of doing that, including also my parents, what was then wrong with my kind of behavior? And the problem was that this kind of behavior was affecting me without me even realizing that. And that's why let's take a closer look. So, a normal day after school, or with school would look kind of like that. I would go to school, then I would return. Oftentimes, especially I'm talking right now here about the last years of my high school, I would go to bed to have a nap because I was very sleep deprived in the morning because I would go to bed late. Thus, I would sleep for an hour, sometimes 2 hours. Then I would eat. While I was eating, I watched like a series, and because I was very easy to become addicted to stuff like that, I continued watching even after finishing to eat. On some days, I had a tutoring session, either in English or in math, and yeah, 1, 2 martial arts classes I had as well. I would in the other time that was free, I would rather scroll and later go to bed later than I actually should to get sufficient amounts of sleep. Here and there, of course, I also did my homework. And if we now take these days, right, and multiply them by 365, this average day, right, and then again multiply that by 6 years or by 5 years, isn't the end result the exact undesirable graduation with the undesirable starting point that I have described earlier, right? And of course, I'm a bit simplifying here. Of course, not every day was like that, but just for simplification, using this kind of model, I think it is quite clear that someone who spends his time like that, yeah, and is very wasting basically most of his free time, won't have the best starting point, especially compared to someone who puts some more work in school, who reads more, who does other things, right? And I hope that you see the problem, right? By fortune, later on, I got into one of Germany's best universities for business, where I studied with a cohort of the best high school graduates from the whole country, from which a lot of people will get very high positions in the economic business environment, either in very good startups, in top tier strategy consultancies, and investment banks, private equity companies, and so on and so forth. So, really important positions in the business or economy environment. With these people, I got the fortune to study. And guess what? Once I got this opportunity and was there, and I was way worse in school basically than all of these guys, what happened? I was super unprepared. Yeah. I haven't prior tried to learn really complex material and really try to deeply understand it. I did not do that in school. Yeah. At my uni, the material was much more complex and the quantity of material was much higher. And thus, the learning pace, how much I had to learn per amount of time was very high. And what I was basically trying at this point in time, accepting this offer from the university, going there, um, was I was trying to joining the Olympia sports competition, yeah, and competing with all these athletes who are basically preparing themselves for things like that for years, yeah, and are from the guys who prepare themselves, those are the athletes at Olympia are the best ones. And now I come there as well and want to compete against these guys while I work out 2 times per week and also inconsistently and just for this and I just started this year. This is how it felt like to me, you know? And um I can tell you that this was one of the biggest challenges of my life to actually stay on top of these things and not get fully destroyed there. Yeah. And trust me, on many occasions, it was very, very unpleasant. I was doubting myself a lot because, again, imagine a guy comes there to the Olympia sports competition who works out twice per week and has an average performance and now wants to compete against all these top athletes. This is how it was for me. Yeah. And why did I had these problems in the first place? That is the important question. And the simple reason is that in school, I did not have the goals that would give me a reason to be better prepared for such a challenge. Yeah? Because I was thinking to myself back then, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a psychologist, is what I thought at this point in time back then. Why should I aim for good grades? I thought these were the only reasons why it makes sense to work harder. Yeah. And since I did not have these goals, I thought this does not apply to me. And because I did not have other goals, I thought I could relax and chill all the time. Yeah. And I think in further videos, we will go deeper on why it makes sense to achieve top grades in high school. Because it can open up things to you you don't even know that they exist. Like me, for example. I was back then very passionate about entrepreneurship. I was very interested in that. But I did not even know that in my country, in Germany, there is a top university that is among the top universities, top 10% universities of the world, and one of the best universities for business in the whole country that is specifically super good for business studies. I did not know that. That could have been a wonderful motivation to work harder. And this is why having thinking about the future and preparing yourself is so important, because not working hard because not having goals is just a lie. It is just lying to yourself that there is no reason to do so. And in further videos, we will get deeper into such topics. However, I was not prepared for such challenge because, again, I did not have the right goals, and thus, wasn't preparing myself for this kind of challenge. And because I was not preparing myself during school, but rather relax, um, since that was what everybody else was doing as well, um, I of course got these problems of struggling to learn fast, struggling with mathematics because my studies were packed with mathematics, struggling with logical concepts and understanding them quickly. This is why I had these issues, and I hope that you see where did these problems come from, and likely also notice them in your own life. How prepared are you for working in a field or studying in a field that you are interested in, but that requires a lot from you, like a top university in your field, right? And rather than using my time in school to prepare myself for the moment of graduation, even though not having a super clear plan at this point, but just having in mind that the goal is to have the best options open to me and be an effective and efficient learner, I relaxed, likely like you are doing too. Okay? And this is why ambition is not enough. It will certainly not take care of you, because during all that time I felt ambitious. And also in uni I felt ambitious, but it was not sufficient to um, to manage all these difficult things there. Because ambition is energy, okay? And it's just like liquid in a lighter, yeah? Conserved energy. And this liquid by itself is not enough to lighten something up. Yeah, I hope you understand that. Just conserved energy like your ambition. The liquid must be ignited. Yeah, and then with this lighter, you have to ignite something else for the conserved energy to become useful. Okay, just the liquid, just your ambition, and just the feeling of, oh, I want this, I want that, and my life should look like this, and yeah, I'm super ambitious, is not enough by far. By far, it's not enough. Yeah, and the subject of preparing yourself, and most importantly, broaden your thinking in regard of what opportunities you are actually able to have after you finish high school and finish it awesomely. Yeah, this is one of the highest ROI, so return on investment things that you can do and should do while you are in school. Okay, no matter whether you're currently planning to start an online business like Iman Gaji is telling you, or Hamza is telling you, or you are actually considering to go to university, there are likely possibilities to combine your ideas with other ideas to have a much more interesting path than a path that's somebody is proposing to you or just dictates that you should pursue. Okay, what I learned is you can combine many things that you haven't even thought about that you can, to have a way cooler path you're on. And if you don't have a clue how you should plan your path after school, there are awesome frameworks out there that can help you with that. And these are exactly the subjects that we work through in the Live Setup operating system. This is a course that I've created where I've put everything together that I wish that I would have known when I was a teenager, when I was 14, 15, 16, like how to create real opportunities in school for your future self, like working on impactful projects during uni, and after that, study, work together with very smart and very ambitious people, open opportunities to build deep understanding in a field that you actually really care about, and open amazing experiences up to you, like foreign countries where you could live in, study in, work in, right? And all of that in parallel. In this course, I also break down frameworks I use to plan my own career. So you can start thinking clearly about that subject and deeply much earlier than I did. And thus broaden your thinking as well in regard of what opportunities you can combine and pursue. And if you want to be intentional about these kind of topics, rather than drifting into your life after school, click the first link in the description. There you can find the Live Setup operating system, and I'd love to see you there. So I hope you understood that relying just on feeling ambitious and thinking that that kind of feeling is going to bring you good results in the future is a lie. That won't happen, okay? With the videos on this channel, I will try to help you to channel the energy that you are already having into activities and goals that are aimed at providing you with a great starting point after you have finished high school and a great position after you have finished university. This is what I call life setup, okay? And before the video ends, I want to give you a few action steps that you can do after watching. And the first is take 5 minutes and write a brief answer to the following question. So, what do I want my life to look like when I'm 18 or when I am about to finish school? Try to be concrete and ideally also vivid, so you can so you're having also like an image in your mind what you would like this point in time to look like. And also think about what opportunities you would like to open up for yourself, and what fields could be the most interesting for you. Now, if you could choose, what identity would you have built by that point, and what starting point with what options would you have? So it's kind of a similar question, but from a bit different angle, and answer that as well. And lastly, what habit is sabotaging me, so you, the most right now towards this desired vision? This is it for this first video on my channel. Excited to see you in the next one. Goodbye.